The panelists, I'd like to thank the panelists for posing the questions to the two debaters. We'll now move on to the third and final round of questions, and that is the questions from the floor. We've got a box of questions here from the floor. I would now like to ask the Chief Minister to pick the first question from here to be answered firstly by the MCA President and then by yourself. Second question, MCA President will pick the question, you will answer, and then you will answer. Right, so we'll move on to this round of questions. Chief Minister to pick the question. I will read this question, and this will be answered firstly by MCA President and then by the Chief Minister. If Pakatan PR comes into power, will it ensure that it will build more Chinese independent schools, as mentioned in recent statements made by the DAP leader? But this is Pakatan MCA answer this.
If you look at Buku Jingle on education and mother tongue education, I'm very sorry, I have to apologize to all of you. It's very general motherhood statement. I only wish DAP could be more specific, as when they see a Chinese crowd. Why is it not written clearly that they will build more Chinese school? Why is it not written clearly that you will build independent school? Why is it that you have not written clearly that you will recognize UEC? No, it is not inside. It is just very general motherhood statement. In fact, I openly asked Anwar, the supremo of DAP. I asked him, if they are in power, please Anwar, today I'm talking so loud, I'm sure you hear me. Can you answer us? Are you going to build more Chinese school? More independent school and recognize UEC? Please tell me. Because if it is from DAP, I don't trust. Why? DAP will say this is not the common policy framework. And when it's not the common policy framework, they don't have to do. Wow. This they call so simple, they just siam only.
DAP tak pernah elak.
Order please.
DAP tak pernah elak. Oleh kerana DAP tak pernah elak, pemimpin-pemimpin kita selalu masuk penjara.
Order please. Order.
Bukan macam pemimpin MCA yang masuk penjara juga, tetapi kerana tipu wang rakyat. When you talk about building of schools, judged by the deeds of the PR governments in Selangor, in Penang, we have given land, we have given funding, every year. If Pakatan Rakyat state governments can give funding every year to Chinese schools, Tamil schools, sekolah agama rakyat, independent Chinese schools, why is it Barisan Nasional cannot do so? So don't question our openness to allow independent Chinese schools or Chinese schools to be built where there's a need, because we have proven our words with action. Unlike Barisan Nasional, no words, no action. 敢怒不敢怒也不敢言啊。Dato Sri Anwar, I think again I cannot blame Chua Soi Lek, because I think probably he gets his information about Bukit Jingga from Dato Chow Chee Hong. They all probably read some different document. I don't know what document. Maybe next time I should send it in videotape to you so you can see clearly. When you talk about Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim,
1 more minute.
he is going to be the Prime Minister if Pakatan Rakyat wins power. Don't go and twist and turn that says Hadi says otherwise. No. Hadi, Anwar and also Kit Siang, all of us has agreed that Dato Sri Anwar will be the Prime Minister if Pakatan wins power. If you rely on Barisan National Media, we all know lah. Barisan National Media cannot trust on all bluff one. Even I sue utusan Malaysia, I not won once. Saya menang 2 kali habis-habis. Ini utusan Malaysia punya media. Semua tipu orang. Kaki fitnah nombor 1 negara. Kita tak akan takut sama UMNO. Kita tak takut sama UMNO kerana kita tak takut sama fitnah. Kita berani kerana benar. Bukan macam MCA. Takut. Kerana mereka takut kedudukan mereka sebagai menteri akan kena sapu habis.
Thank you. I will now call upon the MCA President to draw the next question to be answered first by the Chief Minister and then by yourself. The next question. What is your national education policy for all races to generate a competent citizen of Malaysia? Chief Minister.
Thank you very much, Tan Sri Michael Yeo. We can not ignore the fact that human talent will be the future of our country. And it's not a question of building human talent, but also retaining human talent. I find it very sad that since Merdeka, 2 million Malaysians have left the country. 2 million Malaysians have left the country because they see no future for themselves and see no future for Malaysia. They see no future for Malaysia because they see they don't have freedom, they don't have integrity, and they don't have justice. That is why we are fighting for freedom. We are fighting for democracy. We are fighting for integrity. We are fighting for justice. To fight corruption is not hard. It only depends on whether you got the political will or not. We don't have any laws in Penang, yet I am proud to say that we have wiped out corruption in Penang. And we hope that if we win power in Malaysia, we will do the same in Malaysia. That is why so many people are afraid. So many people are using every tactic to sabotage us, including a smear campaign, spreading lies against Pakatan Raya leaders, because they are afraid that when we win power, these corrupt cronies will be wiped out for the country, which we need to wipe out for the future of our children. We need to build universities that are excellent, and that is why we must restore standards in universities. And here we make the suggestion, we must improve the standard of English. Let us make English a compulsory subject that you must pass for SPM, so that you can upgrade and improve the standard of English amongst Malaysians. Does Barisan Nasional dare to take up this offer or not? We hope that when you have that creativity and innovation, that freedom for people to fulfill their potential, I'm sure we can build productive and creative talents for the country. Because if you don't give them freedom, they will only leave Malaysia freely. That is where we have to stop them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President.
Thank you, Tan Sri. You see, when people are educated or talented, they have what we call economic independence and social mobility. And they tend to move. And Malaysia is not the only country that faces brain drain. Almost all developing countries faces this problem. Number one, this is no justification That's why I say when we say that we train 200,000 talented people, your CM say it is shame on us for training 200,000 people. You look at the country's meritocracy policy. The number of non-Malays entering tertiary education have gone up. Last year it was 88.6% for Chinese. For Indian, it was 83%. In terms of scholarship, last year JPA, more were given to all races. 20% for the socially and economically disadvantaged group in Sabah and Sarawak. And we support that. This year, everybody with 9A plus will get the government bursary. No race is put into consideration. The Talent Corp is another good example of reaching out to the rest. So don't just use rhetoric, but nothing specific that we will train talent. And when we train talent, they say, shame on you. Because, why do we take the initiative to train? Because when we do it, because we felt we have a responsibility to complement and help what the government is doing. And when you can't do it, please admit that you don't want to do it or you don't know how to do it. No country in the world can provide and meet the needs of education for all its citizens. No country in the world. I can say that on record. No. That Lim Guan Eng's government is a fake one if he can promise everybody got education. It's a fake. It's a sham, I can tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the midst of even doing our own vocational institute. Because we believe that we want to train more technical people. So don't just use figure to frighten all of us. The fact that Malaysian can go overseas to work is a recognition that our Malaysian standard is of certain level. So our Malaysian doctor go overseas to work as doctors. Not like some country where the doctors come here and work as nurse. Then we got problem.
I'd like to now ask the Chief Minister to draw the third question. This question is to MCA, but I think DAP can also reply to MCA. When the law minister torn you and MCA apart, calling MCA a battered wife, you cowardly kept quiet. If you can't even defend yourself, how can you defend the Rakyat's policies?
Was that a statement from the Prime Minister? You see, we must be fair in statement. When one of your leaders said that the Perak Menteri Besar is a black metallic metal. Remember? Now there are among politicians walking in the corridors of power who sometimes get carried away. And we think that we should rubbish them by not honoring them to reply them. Yes. You dignify them when you reply them. Because, why do I say so? Because he may be a minister of law, but he is not the Prime Minister that calls the shot. If it comes from the Prime Minister, and I'm sure the Prime Minister will not make such utterances. So when one of your leaders says it's a black metallic leader, what did DAP do?
Chief Minister.
I think this is a very strong proof to show that the fact that MCA did not protest when somebody called them a battered wife, that MCA takut UMNO lah. But I do not want to get involved in the fight between MCA and UMNO. I think what we want to discuss is about policies. And when you talk about the changes that they mentioned, we do not deny that there have been changes after 2008. In some of the scholarships, yes, some improvement, marginal improvement. But all this happened because the political tsunami of 2008 that made this possible. Let us be frank. Do you think that if Pakatan had not won 5 states in 2008, would there be 50 million for Chinese schools lah, 100 million for Tamil schools lah? No way! No way whatsoever. It's because the people have spoken. Pakatan Rakyat has spoken. Then Barisan Nasional is forced to change. That is why we say these forced changes is not enough. We want to change Barisan Nasional out completely. My learned opponent just now said that we insulted the contributors to TAR College. No, we did not. We said that the establishment of TAR College is an indication of your failure to allow non-Malay students who are qualified to enter universities. That's why you have to set up TAR College as a consolation prize.
To correct you,
no. It's my floor. You are out of order. You are out of order. And you talk about donations. Why did MCA reject 30 million ringgit from Kun Yu Yin? Why did MCA turn down 30 million ringgit from Kun Yu Yin? I think this shows that this is because of political considerations. Don't go and tell me that this is one of your greatest achievements when it is one of your greatest failures. We talk about talent. Do not forget, 2 million Malaysians, the best and the brightest, left the country. Replaced by what? All the unskilled labor from Myanmar, Bangladesh. Are you proud of that, MCA? This is another greatest failure of MCA.
Thank you. I ask MCA President to pick the final question. Final question from the floor. What has Dato Sri Chua Soi Lek achieved in his time as Penang Port Commission Chairman, other than cancelling the much-needed 350 million ringgit dredging of the Penang Port and privatizing the port to Tan Sri Syed Mokhtar in order to turn it into a feeder port for Tanjung Pelepas in Johor?
I think, as the Penang Chief Minister, I feel very disappointed in my learned opponent's performance. Why? No performance. Instead of protecting the Penang port for the people of Penang, he has sold out the interests of the people of Penang by supporting the privatization of Penang port to Tan Sri Syed Mokhtar. Penang port belongs to the people of Penang. Why is it that it is not determined by the people of Penang? Is that democracy, Barisan Nasional? Let somebody from outside decide the future and fate of the port. And we feel that when you can sell out the interests of the Penang port, you will also sell out the interests of the people of Penang. How can you allow a main commercial port to be reduced in status to a feeder port? On behalf of the people of Penang, I tell this to my learned opponent. No. Implement the 353 million ringgit dredging of the port channel so that we can restore the former glories of Penang port. If you do not know how to do it, never mind. Give it to the Penang State government and we will show you how it can be done. 我人伫平洲讲啊，做好你看。Up to now, the chairman of the Penang Port Commission, did not come to Penang to explain why he wants to reduce Penang Port to be a feeder port. Please show some courage. Come to Penang. Come on Monday night at the Chief Minister's office in Penang, where we have a meeting with all the stakeholders, stevedores, the Penang Port itself, the unions, the logistics people, the respective Chamber of Commerce. Let us have a discussion. And you can know from the people of Penang whether they support the privatization, not privatization, the privatization of Penang Port.
Thank you, Chief Minister, Mr. President.
Sometimes it is very difficult to respond to people who know nothing about privatization and about port. Why do I say so? Ask anybody, they will tell you, it is not the business of the government to run business. It is the private sector that will do a better job. And if you look at all the ports in Malaysia, the only port that has not been privatized is Penang Port. All the other ports that have been privatized have done well. Today, the top 20 port in the world is Port Klang and Tanjung Pelepas. Why do we privatize this port? For the sake of the Penang government, we privatize it. Why do I say so? Because the Penang port has not been performing and not comparable to the regional peer. Its productivity, its efficiency is on the low side. I will give you some figures, and if you know, please go and check. 1. Penang Port is the same size as Pasir Gudang Port. It handles about 1 million TEU. Last year, Penang Port made 183,000. Pasir Gudang Port made 185 million. A measure of the productivity of a port. Penang Port, they call it the throughput per employee. If you don't understand, please after this I will explain to you. They call it the throughput employee. Penang Port is 70,000 FWT. The regional port is 30,000. So this question of Penang Port, the Chief Minister again shows his ignorance. It is like what? He said, oh, Penang Port is a transshipment hub. Are you going to tell me that Penang Airport today, the landway is lengthened? We upgrade Penang Port? Are you going to say that Penang Port is an international port like KLIA? It is not just dredging the port that you become a transshipment hub. Penang Port to this day is still a feeder port. You dredge it, you deepen it, the big post-pandemic vessel of 8,000 to 12,000 TEU, which may mean nothing to you, will still not call on Penang Port because it is a feeder port. Just the same way, no international flight from London will come to Penang because it is a regional port. It is not an international port. Understand? So when we increase the efficiency and the productivity of the port in Penang, the Penang trade and investment will go up. So you have to thank us, not blame us for doing it.
We have now come to the end of the question and answer session for the debate. I think the two debaters have taken on a large number of questions from the moderator, from the panelists, and from the floor. It is time for them to give their closing remarks as a summing up of the debate that has gone on over the last almost 1.5 hours. It's my pleasure to now call upon Dr. Sri Chua Soi Lek to make your closing remarks, after which Chief Minister Lim Guan Eng will deliver the closing remarks. Each of you would have between 10 to 12 minutes to round up and to close the debate. May I invite Dr. Sri Chua Soi Lek for your summing up.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we should ponder on Ubah. Why do I say so? If you look at Barisan Nasional under Dato Sri Najib, there is a clear direction of growth for the next 10 years. The transformation program to ensure that we achieve 6% growth, high income status by 2020, greater prosperity, and a better quality of life for all. Of course, DAP will continue to rubbish this transformation program. But ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, after the Facebook IPO, the world's second and the third largest IPO come from Malaysia, which are all oversubscribed. So Malaysia recently was regarded as a bright spot in a gloomy global financial market. Our share market continued to go up. There is no denying about it. It shows the investors' confidence. And this will reject DAP's so-called gloom and doom of the Malaysia economy. If we want to face doom and gloom, it is Pakatan Rakyat with its populist policy. Every day is talking about the same thing, as I've said, long on rhetoric, short on action and delivery. Just now, he avoided the question by Dato Sri Cho Chee Hong. Leaders should face question and answer them. If they dare not answer, they are not fit to be a leader. What is Ubah? Ubah means to change. To change from the present government, ruled by consensus as what we have today, to one where DAP, Keadilan and PAS cannot even agree on the common symbol, the logo. Until today, you cannot even agree when to register your party. I say it again and again. You have nothing in common except your naked ambition to take central power. And I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair to all Malaysians that after you win, you quarrel among yourselves. Who is who and which is the minister? And who is the prime minister? So I suggest that your slogan should not be Ubah. Your slogan should be power now, chaos thereafter. Or in bahasa they call rampasan kuasa didahulukan, pentadbiran huru-hara diutamakan. What are you going to ubah? You ubah from a secular state with Islam as the religion of the federation to one Islamic state with PAS hudud. And whether you like it or not, we will face a lot of do's and don'ts, a more restrictive lifestyle, a neglect of the socio-economic development as we've seen in Kedah, in Kelantan. Of course, DAP will say these are all small things. No alcohol, no lottery ticket, no live concert, no cinema, no Valentine's Day, fatwa ruling that cannot be challenged. DAP will tell you these are small things. But you have failed to stand up for the non-Muslim. On the bigger issue, you will not stand up. You will just stand down and bow out, I'm sure. Your Ubah every day is to talk about corruption. No doubt it is important. And I've said what we have put in place, what we call the building blocks and the foundation, so that this agenda of anti-corruption drive can be put on a stronger footing. It is not just the political will in corruption. It is just like fighting inflation. Fighting inflation requires a change of lifestyle. Fighting corruption requires a social transformation of the mindset. The mindset of the people who give money and the people who accept the money. And it's not just the political way. So you talk about corruption, no tender, must be open tender, no abuse of power. But Chief Minister, why in Kedah so many projects is given out without tender, you just keep quiet only? Why in Penang, your Wi-Fi project also you don't tender lah, please. Some other project I don't want to mention one by one because I see some of their businessmen here is not so nice lah. Ubah means what? Ubah to DAP is to demonize all the government institutions in this country, which is important for the smooth running of this country. So you have Bersih 1, Bersih 2, Bersih 3, maybe Bersih 4. And you say why? You say that the electoral roll is tainted. The election rule is wrong. It is tilted against Pakatan Rakyat. But you go around with your colleagues around the whole country and say, ladies and gentlemen, after the general election, we will come to power. I would say, hey, where got meaning? You say the roll is tainted. You say the rules are against you. How come you can win? Now, who is lying and who is being tainted? Electoral roll is tainted or the politician who cry wolf is tainted? Don't be consistently inconsistent, they say. It is not nice to be... You tell people Penang model is the best. But ladies and gentlemen, it is something that I will not write home about. That's what they say. Nothing to shout about. With limited land, escalating land costs, no low-cost house built from 2008 to 2010. This is not from Chua Soi Lek, from the auditor's report of 2010. And the government which is developer-centric, the poor in Penang will be slowly and surely be squeezed out, I'm telling you. What is Ubah in Penang? Ubah in Penang means you announce project you don't have to do. You announce for song only. So you announce you want to upgrade the public transport system. You never do. You want to build a tunnel from the mainland to the island. You never do. You want to build a simple thing like a tiger park. You never do. An international golf club. You never do. You want to convert all the land to freehold. 你做梦，我们才做给你。So Ubah government means announce for song, no need to do. Then Ubah means what? You claim credit for what other people have done. You say the FDI is very high, you keep on telling us. But ladies and gentlemen, the front row are all businessmen. You know FDI is because of the central government fiscal and tax incentive and the infrastructure. The state play a very small role. And anything that goes wrong, blame the previous state government. The Kanchil car park is a good example. Today, the development of the hill, one news reporters even say it's a rape of the hilltop in Penang. This blame on the previous government. Don't blame us. This government got no power. Previous government so powerful. Approved already, we cannot change. Understand? And this, they say so big that they are so powerful. Why is that so? Why can't they change? Come on, please don't come and bluff me. You have the power to change. But you dare not do because you are developer-centric, not riot-centric. Then you break all the political norms and decency by claiming, just now he claimed, wait, 4 years under my regime, we have a surplus of 1.13 billion. But you failed to disclose that by 2008, when you took over, there was already a budget surplus of nearly 1 billion. Then you claim, like just now, last year we reduced the debt by 95%. What do? You did nothing. You just transferred 600 million from the Penang account to the federal government account because of water restructuring. And then you claim credit for what others have done. Ini what Chinese call tak patut lah. is something to make you very sad. Something to make the people on my right-hand side very sad. Are you aware that from 2008 to 2010, the state GDP of Penang actually shrink by 1.8%? Please quote me on that. Shrink by 1.8%. Despite the optimism and the exuberant confidence displayed by the CM, the state GDP went down, my dear friend. The federal GDP went up by 5.4%. Ubah means press freedom. But that is for people who are friendly to you and not critical to you. To those who are critical, we will sue you. We will prevent you from coming. And even in the state, I was told, a certain personality's name cannot be mentioned. The moment you mention his name, I will sue you if you write one line. Wait, where is the press freedom, my dear friend? So, it is a question of, I preach, but I don't have to practice. Understand, friend? Gag order is liberally been dished out. It has always been the same, I was told. It has always been the favorite song, My Way or No Way. If you don't follow my way, you have to go to the exit highway of no return. Poor Tunku Aziz. And that is despite your own colleague, Dato' Speaker of Selangor, openly say he respects Tunku Aziz and his opinion on Brexit. He respects him. But he was shown the exit door of no return highway. So much for press freedom under the regime of so-called Ubah. Ladies and gentlemen, Ubah means less tolerance, less accommodation, more confrontation, bordering on what we call violence. But whatever violence is very cleverly camouflaged under NGO. It has nothing to do with us. It has nothing to do with me, you know. Please, it's NGO, NGO. So you pit the Chinese against the Chinese. And you say that you are multiracial. You are a party of 40 over years in existence. But you don't even have an Indian state chief. Ada tak? Tak ada. 1999, 2004, 2008 political tsunami, you don't even get a Malay YB. State and parliament tak ada. But we are multiracial. But every question they will provoke the Chinese and say why Chinese cannot go into this, cannot go into that. Same breath they say we are multiracial. And he says that in BN there is no money for Chinese school. That is a lie. That's not true. In Johor from 308 until now, the BN government has given 5 pieces of land, each 5 acres for Chinese school. Pakatan Rakyat in Selangor and Penang have never given a 5-acre land for Chinese school. They only announce song only. And then when you are in power, you pit the Chinese against the Malay and the Indians. That's why you see the society so polarized. Because you tell the Chinese, oh, MCA sell out. MCA got no guards to face UMNO. Give us to us, we will confront them. Friend, ladies and gentlemen, this is a multiracial country. Let us reject Ubah with all its uncertainty and empty promises. Let us embrace Najib transformation program that promise inclusiveness and greater prosperity for all. We may not be perfect, but it gives us hope. And let us work together to make this dream possible. We have a duty to ourselves, to our children, to our country, so don't gamble them away with Ubah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, President. Chief Minister, can we have order, please? Order, please. Can you please take your seats again? Order. Chief Minister now has 15 minutes for your closing remarks.
Thank you very much. Just now, my learned opponent mentioned whether a person is fit for a leader. Fit to be a leader. Siapa yang layak jadi seorang pemimpin. Dan beliau telah membuat beberapa tuduhan secara pribadi. Saya tak berminat untuk membuat tuduhan pribadi. Kalau beliau nak syok sendiri, biarlah beliau syok sendiri. Beberapa perkara yang harus dijawab. Bahawa Malaysia, bahawa Pulau Pinang hanya dapat menarik pelaburan yang terbesar hasil daripada usaha kerajaan pusat. Ini saya sudah dengar banyak kali. Tapi saya nak tanya, mengapakah semasa Barisan Nasional memerintah Pulau Pinang selama 40 tahun, tak pernah 1 tahun menjadi nombor 1 dalam pelaburan? Mengapa kena tunggu Pakatan Rakyat memerintah selepas 2008 baru Pulau Pinang boleh jadi nombor 1 dalam pelaburan? Bukan sekali, tapi 2 kali. And do you know that Penang is now listed by ECA International has the most livable city in Malaysia, even beating Kuala Lumpur. We did that for the first time in history in 2011 to prove that it was no fluke, but a fact. We repeated it this year. Penang, the most livable city in Malaysia. You come to our Georgetown Festival, even international newspapers have written the hippest town in Malaysia. Where? Fit to be a leader. I think that question should be answered by our Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Najib. Saya harap Perdana Menteri buktikan kepada rakyat Malaysia, anda memang layak menjadi Perdana Menteri. Jangan lari, jangan sembunyi. Berbahas dengan Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. Datuk Seri Anwar cakap, boleh bagi you 10 minit, saya angkat 3 minit cukup. Wah, bagi handicap pun tak berani kah? Low cost housing. Memang, saya tidak bersetuju bila cakap kerajaan negeri tak bina rumah kos rendah. Saya nak tanya, kerajaan pusat pun tak bina rumah kos rendah. Kerajaan pusat membina kos rumah melalui syarikat perumahan negara Berhad. Bukan secara langsung oleh kerajaan pusat. Kerajaan negeri pun serupa. Kita membina rumah kos rendah melalui PDC. Daripada 2008 hingga 2000 hingga sekarang, kita sudah bina 3,000 unit. Saya tahu tak cukup. Tetapi kita kena kumpulkan wang. Dan kita telah kumpulkan wang sebanyak 500 juta ringgit dan bercadang membina 18,000 unit rumah mampu milik. Tender terbuka. Wah, cakap kita tak ada tender terbuka. Sebenarnya saya tak salahkan pihak MCA dan Barisan Nasional. Sungguh pun kita buat tender terbuka, dia masih cakap kita tak buat tender terbuka. Memanglah mereka tak buat tender terbuka. Macam mana boleh faham apa itu tender terbuka? Tender terbuka kena buat iklan di surat khabar. Tender terbuka mesti pilih harga yang paling baik, kualiti yang paling baik, pengurusan yang bertaraf antarabangsa. Tapi itu Barisan Nasional tak faham kerana mereka hanya bagi kepada abang adik kroni mereka. Di Pulau Pinang, kita semua buat tender terbuka. Bukan saja kita iklankan di surat khabar bahasa Melayu dan bahasa Inggeris, kita pun iklan di bahasa Cina juga. Sebut tentang kita punya, talk about our debts, talk about surplus. I think you should read the financial reports. Since you claim to know a lot about Talam, even though it is double counting, you still say 1 billion. Never mind lah, let this be settled in court. When we talk about the state debts, 600 million ringgit in reduction. You said that was transferred to the federal government? Yes, because we drove a hard bargain. We drove a hard bargain for the interest of the people of Penang. If that is so easily done, why is it under Barisan Nasional? You could not do it, but have to wait until Pakatan Rakyat take over, and then we reduce the Penang state government's debts. Everything got to wait for us to do lah. When they are in power, they do nothing lah. Only approve huge projects they got lah. Huge projects. Well, of course, we know who owns the star. Who owns the star? Siapa lagi? Of course, they will paint a false picture. First, they said dying hills. Now they say crying hills. Dying hills, now crying hills. I think with the lies the MCA spread, it will end up to be sex, lies, and the hills lah. Now this is the problem. When you want to whitewash the sins of the previous government in approving all projects above 250 feet, the state government under Pakatan Rakyat, we did not approve a single project. We have to deal with what the rubbish that we inherited from the previous state government, and we are doing so. We have said if we want to have an engagement, direct engagement, I call upon your subordinate, Dato Sri Wong Chun Wai, who writes about the hills being raped. Come, let us have a direct dialogue. We have nothing to hide. We can declassify the minutes. Let us have a direct dialogue. If you dare, Wong Chun Wai, come, I will wait for you. We talk about the freedom of the press. The freedom of the press does not give you the freedom to lie, because you are controlled by Barisan Nasional. We only ask that if you print any lies, give us the right of reply. But when you refuse to give us the right of reply, our only choice is to sue. But how many times can we sue? We cannot sue every day. We sue Utusan Malaysia. And of course, MCA now defends Utusan Malaysia. Taknya kepada MCA lah. My friends, no longer can we accept the abuse of power under Barisan Nasional that led to Malaysians dying in custody, such as Teo Beng Hock, Abad Sabani, and A. Kugan. We must have the IPSCMC. No longer can we allow our women folk to walk the streets and park their cars in fear. We should put more policemen on patrol instead of using them to monitor Pakatan Rakyat leaders. No longer can we accept a policy of putting profits before the people's health. Let us change to close down the Linus Rare Earth plant in Kuantan and stop the building of nuclear reactors proposed by Barisan Nasional. No longer should Sabahans be strangers in their own land with illegal immigrants getting citizenship. Let us have a royal commission of inquiry to weed out these illegal citizens. No longer should Sabahans and Sarawakians be denied the right to their natural resources by being given royalties of only 5%. Let us give them their rightful share, increase from 5% to 20%. No longer should vernacular schools be marginalized. We have a right to adequate funding for mother tongue education, and also the right to set up independent Chinese schools, the way that the government allows international schools to be set up. No longer can we accept a slow broadband service. Let us have a proper broadband and free Wi-Fi in public places like in Penang. No longer can we accept the cynical manipulation and division of the people by race and religion, when we should be united by the principles of justice, freedom, integrity, and democracy. Let us not bully the minority races. Let us ensure a minority Malaysian, such as birthday co-chairman Dato' Ambiga, is not hounded and persecuted, and people even want to hang her just because she's an Indian, a Hindu, and woman. We condemn that totally. My fellow Malaysians, it is time that we don't live in our past that is filled with hatred and fear. We should look to the future filled with hope and harmony between all Malaysians. To put the past behind us, we must stop the politics of race and religion. To put the past behind us, we must end corruption. To put the past behind us, we must abolish the suppression, oppression, repression of our basic human rights and freedoms. To put the past behind us, we must demand good and clean governance from our ministers. How have our ministers performed? The tourism ministry spends 1.8 million ringgit on Facebook, even though it's free. The health ministry. How can the health ministry assure affordable health care when they allow middlemen to order drugs and make profits and not direct from the manufacturers? Even though these manufacturers are based in Malaysia, you order straight from them, you can get it cheaper and better quality. Are you not denying the basic right of Malaysians for affordable health care? And the housing ministry, my friend here, the housing and local government ministry opposes local government elections. Where is our democratic right to elect our local councillors and our mayors? We want local government elections. And finally, our transport ministry. You look at the way the airports and the ports are run. No attention paid to our airports and our ports. More attention paid on car numbers, especially WWW number 15. The time has come for us to change. The time has come for Malaysians to boldly stand up for ubah. We must improve the economic life. Kita harus memperbaiki keadaan ekonomi orang-orang miskin. 60% daripada rakyat Malaysia mendapat pendapatan kurang daripada RM3,000 sebulan. Tak cukup. Kita mau dinaikkan. Dan hanya Pakatan Rakyat yang boleh memperbaiki keadaan ekonomi golongan miskin 60% daripada rakyat Malaysia. Jangan cakap ini tak boleh dilakukan. Tengok Korea Selatan. Sekarang Korea Selatan begitu maju. Dulu Korea Selatan selalu kalah kepada Malaysia dalam bola sepak. Sekarang Malaysia tak tahu turun pergi mana. Korea Selatan sekarang selalu main dekat World Cup. Dulu Korea Selatan lagi miskin dari Malaysia. Dia punya GNP per capita hanya $260. Malaysia pada tahun 1970 $380. Lagi baik daripada Korea Selatan. Tapi sekarang Korea Selatan punya GNP per capita $20,000. Sekali ganda lebih besar daripada Malaysia. Mengapa anak-anak kita sekarang semua ikut K-pop? Dengar lagu Korea Selatan. Kerana di Korea Selatan mereka buat pemilihan yang betul. Mereka pilih demokrasi. Mereka pilih prestasi baik daripada pemimpin mereka. Dan yang penting sekali, mereka memilih kebebasan. Peluang yang sama kepada semua rakyat. Tak payah bergantung kepada kabel politik lagi. Kita hanya perlu bergantung kepada kabel internet. Dah cukup untuk kita maju. Only when we free ourselves from fear of change can we be free to prosper. BN cannot change. They need to be changed. For BN wants to rule by fear. We know that if we wipe out corruption, BN will die. But if we do not wipe out corruption, Malaysia will die. So the choice is very clear. As Thomas Jefferson said, we must not fear. When the governments fear the people, there is liberty. When the people fear the government, there is tyranny. The choice is clear, my friends. Do you want to choose tyranny or liberty? That is why we chose Uber. We want liberty. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have some order? Please, order, please. Order. Order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of this debate, and we have heard very eloquent presentations from both the debaters, the President of MCA, Dr. Sri, Dr. Chua Soi Lek, and the Chief Minister of Penang, Lim Guan Eng. I would like to thank both of them for your presence with us this afternoon to address us and to be engaged in this historic debate.